Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me and this is my channel. We talk about all things personal finance, investing, business and entrepreneurship. And today we're going to be talking about something very close to my heart. HOA BS. Yes, my friends, the HOA tried to fine me $500 because they said that my car was parked in my driveway for too long. So if you're interested in hearing how I fought the HOA and won, stay tuned. All right, guys. So let's start off with the story. For those of you who are new here, I live in a townhouse. I bought it 2 years ago. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I love living here. However, there's one thing that I despise, and that is the HOA. The HOA is horrible. They try to find every possible way to find you and fine you. Let me tell you a little bit about my HOA. First of all, the HOA is located in Miami, Florida. If you know anything about Florida, you know that during the winter season, during the colder months, snowbirds come down to Florida because they don't want to be in their cold countries or whatever. A lot of retirees move down to Florida. That means that everyone wants to rent out their house up north, and then they're not going to use it for a couple of months. So they're renting it out to make money. So what do? They come to places like Miami. The problem with that is now your property values have gone through the roof. This makes it difficult for people who are actually born and raised here in Miami to afford to stay in Miami. Which brings me to my HOA. The HOA is super strict because they're trying to keep up the property values. Unfortunately, they're doing a great job at keeping them high. But at what cost, right? For example, the HOA fines you $50 for having a leaf in your front yard. They fine you $50 for your grass being too tall. They'll fine you $50 if you have a bottle of mosquito repellent out. You're sitting outside enjoying your dinner. They don't care. They're gonna find you. What I'm saying is that they try to find any reason to fine you. So when I moved in, I got a letter that says, "Welcome to the community. There's certain rules and regulations. We expect you to abide by them. You will be fined." And I thought to myself, okay, whatever. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to stress about it. Fast forward a couple of months later, I get a letter that says, "Your car has been parked in your driveway for too long." Now, the rules state that you can park your car in your driveway overnight. However, during the day, you cannot have your car parked in your driveway. I understand where they're coming from. They don't want people who are visiting us to park in our driveways because they want to keep the properties looking nice and clean. I totally understand where they're coming from. I just wish there was a better way to go about it than sending me a fine. So I was like, okay, whatever, I'm not going to stress about it. Well, guess what? I forgot about it. I didn't pay it. Then I got another letter. It says, "Please remit your payment of $500. Now I'm confused because the first letter that I got only stated that I was violating the law, but it didn't state the amount that I had to pay. When I saw $500, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I called the HOA and I asked them why I was getting fined $500 when the first letter that I received did not state the amount that I owed. She said that it doesn't matter and that I should have known better than to ignore the first letter. I told her that I didn't realize that the first letter was an actual invoice, and she simply just hung up on me. Now, the next time that I see her, I'm going to talk to her about it. I'm going to ask her why she hung up on me. I'm not sure what I'm going to say, but I'm definitely going to speak to her, because first of all, if you're going to send someone a fine, especially for $500, that's a lot of money. If I could just go ahead and give you $500 whenever I feel like it, I would. But I think that there needs to be a conversation that happens first before I do that. Also, I'm a firm believer that actions should match words. Your actions should match your words. If I were to ignore the first letter, my action is ignoring the letter, right? So her action would be to send me a second letter. Her action didn't match her words. She sent me a $500 fine. So I feel like that's not fair. I called again and I spoke to a different person and he said that he would look into it. He would call me back. Guess what? I never heard back from him. Now, I started researching online, and I found a website called Nextdoor. On Nextdoor, it's a neighborhood app. Someone had mentioned the HOA, and I looked through all of these other violations, and people were complaining about the same exact thing. Apparently, they were all fined $500 as well. That made me even more angry because it seemed like it was targeted towards people who weren't paying their fines. They weren't following the rules. This was not the case for me. I had no idea that I wasn't following the rules. I decided to do something about it. I wrote a letter. I addressed it to the president of the board, and I simply just told him that I got a fine for $500 for parking my car in my driveway, and I didn't agree with it. I also mentioned that when I purchased my townhome, no one told me that I wasn't allowed to park my car in my driveway. If they did, I wouldn't have purchased the home. I ended up mailing the letter because I didn't want to show up to the office and cause a scene. I just wanted to be respectable. I mailed it to him. I got a response back, and he simply just denied everything. He said that I should have read the book that was over 100 pages that explained all of the rules. He also said that I should have spoken to him directly instead of sending him a letter. I responded back, and I told him that I was not going to pay the fine. We'll see what happens next, right? Maybe they take me to court, maybe they don't. Who knows, but I'm not going to pay it. Well, guys, let me fast forward for you. About 3 weeks after I sent that letter, I get a phone call from the HOA, and she says, "Hi, I'm calling to let you know that we've removed the $500 fine. However, you do owe a $25 late fee." I was completely taken aback by what she said. I could not believe that she was offering to remove the $500, but yet she was trying to charge me a $25 late fee. I asked her to hold on a second. I got up, I walked out into my driveway, and I noticed that my car was gone. Now, if you guys remember, my car was towed away because I had it parked in my driveway for too long. I asked her why my car was towed away when I didn't have it parked there for longer than 24 hours. She said that she had no idea and that I should call the towing company. I called the towing company, and they said that the HOA paid for my car to be towed. Well, I got my car back, and I ended up paying $25 to the HOA. To be honest, I was kind of happy that they removed the $500, but I was still upset that they charged me $25. I was expecting them to remove the whole amount. At the end of the day, I learned a valuable lesson. I learned that if you want to fight your HOA, you need to fight them early on. Don't wait until they pile on the fines. By the time that they pile on the fines, it becomes difficult to fight them because they have all of the upper hand. They have all of the receipts. They have all of the proof. So if you're going to fight them, do it early on. Speak to the president of the board. Speak to the manager. Try to understand exactly where they're coming from. I know that this is easier said than done, but at the end of the day, it is possible. Don't wait until it becomes a big problem, because then it becomes difficult to solve. Well, guys, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us grow. Let me know what you thought about it down below in the comment section. Remember that I have another channel where I talk about all things beauty. My friends, remember to always stay classy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.